Welcome back to the Broad Street Benchwarmers podcast. My name is Adam Den. Michael Cornwallis is here with me. Ethan Dennis, unfortunately, unable to join us today. He'll be back soon, though. We're all going to be home together, so we'll have some content for you as we all get back to the grind. But we just wanted to come here. It's been a couple weeks, just to kind of reset what's been an incredible NFL season. What's coming upon, a really fun stretch down the latter half of the season as we approach Thanksgiving, where we're really going to find out the true contenders in the AFC, the true contenders in the NFC, and who's going to get into this wild card race. Maybe it'll be Mike's Texans. Maybe it'll be the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we spent weeks arguing about. We're going to find out. So just break down a couple games. But how are you feeling, Michael Cornwallis?
Feeling great. It's been a great season. Having fun. Watching my Texans see Stroud lighting up. It's been wonderful to see. It's a nice change of pace.
You can see the smile on his face. He's a changed man, changed by C.J. Stroud.
You can have fun watching football again.
Yep, exactly.
Even though sometimes it's not fun when you remember that he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get those. Franchise quarterbacks, you can get those.
Yeah.
We'll take them.
Yep. You want to start off with your boys' biggest game of the week, game of the year, per se?
That is definitely a place to start. What a night. The Philadelphia Eagles go to Arrowhead against the defending Super Bowl champions in the game everybody was excited for, the rematch on Monday Night Football. And they still win in a game which never really felt perfect by any means. They were down 10 at the end of the first half. Looked completely out of sync offensively in all ways, and were able to come away with a really shocking defensive performance in the second half, and eventually improved to 9-1. So, what were your thoughts watching this last night?
I think it was an ugly game for both quarterbacks. I really thought today we could really see an MVP. Last night I thought we would see an MVP candidate emerge, and we didn't. So whatever.
Yeah.
But that's at least some more concerns here. I really like the way the Eagles contained Travis Kelce. I think that was a massive deal. He didn't have that 1 yard touchdown or something, but outside of that touchdown, he was at 6 receptions for 40 yards. So you take what you can get guarding maybe the best tight end ever. Probably there were some problems trying to contain Isaiah Pacheco. I don't think you guys really can play well for him, but I think it was a great win for you guys. Great defensive performance from a secondary that's all but dead at this point. Probably could have gotten A.J. Brown involved a little bit more, but it happens. Dante Smith had a great game, about 100 yards. Jalen Hurts was rough, but 2 touchdowns on the ground. That's what he's going to do. That was a great win for you guys. Big statement win, going on the road in the Arrowhead. Survive the chop.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I like that you mentioned Travis Kelce. I think across the NFL now, teams' ability with the Chiefs' real lack of skill position players to kind of key in on him, not just with linebackers, but with safeties, and just kind of swarm him across the middle of the field. Kind of letting these Chiefs' skill position players create on their own. In a way that we hadn't really seen maybe even in previous years, just because, the Chiefs, even with some of the weaknesses of these receiver rooms that the Chiefs have had over the years, it's never been this bad. And I think that
last year they still had Juju, 1,000-yard receiver. He was good last year.
Yeah. Yep. And Valdez-Scantling had a much better year last year. McCole Hardman looks like a completely different player this year. So it may be similar, on paper pieces, but they just haven't performed to the way you would ask for. I saw a stat last week, and the stat probably still holds up considering the performance that they had last night. But there have been 150 offensive performances by the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes over the course of these past, I think it's been 4 or 5 years. This
might be year 6.
Yeah, year 6, something like that. It's been what a run. But over the past 150, this year's rendition of the Kansas City Chiefs have not had an offensive performance based on EPA per play that has ranked within the top 50. So the top third of every single offensive game they've played over 6 years, they haven't even come close to it. So
yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, it's horrible. And for a team with such a good line, I mean, this is maybe the best line play that they've gotten in those 6 years. They were incredible last night. They dominated the Eagles' defensive line, which had been so good
Pacheco had a great night.
The season through 3 quarters. Exactly. Pacheco had a great night. And so, for them to not come out of it with a win, I think is more disappointing for them than it is encouraging for the Eagles, I think, in my opinion. But I mean, for Philadelphia, you improve to 9-1. You get a win down this massive, horrible stretch that everybody keeps emphasizing. And yeah, I mean, like you said, secondary, a lot of holes, but I felt like they really came together in the second half last night. Kevin Byard played his best game as a Philadelphia Eagle by far.
Huge interception.
James Bradbury was really solid last night, I thought, on the other end. And that just all in all, Sean Desai and the job he did against Patrick Mahomes, they blitzed the most of any Eagles team over the last 2 years in any singular football game on Mahomes. Just forcing him to rely on those skill position options and wasn't able to do it. So what a game plan by him. On the other side of the ball, a lot of questions, as you pointed to as well. Brian Johnson, a rough game for him. Yeah,
terrible coordinator.
Yeah, it was not pretty by any means.
Horrific game.
The bubble screen madness is gonna slowly, turn my brain into mush. But they have another week to work it out before that explosive Bills offense they're gonna face off against, and for the run game to tough it out the way it did. DeAndre Swift, I thought, had a really nice game. For Jalen to step up in the latter fourth quarter and take control, even though I thought he had a rough game through 3 quarters. I thought just a lot of mental toughness shown by a team that I had seriously questioned the amount of mental toughness they had throughout the course of the season. So I think I can walk away somewhat satisfied with that.
Yeah, I think now it's time we learn a lot about Patrick Mahomes. This is definitely the most adversity he's ever faced in his career.
Yeah.
Probably. So, I mean, now it's time. This is like, a guy who's going to be entering the GOAT conversation a couple of years from now, probably. So this is the start. This is where you see how greatness responds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally know what you mean. And we were talking about this before we got on. The contenders in the AFC just continue getting greater and greater. And I know we're going to talk about a couple of them a little later, but how he's been gifted the best defense that he has in his career. How offensively is he going to be able to make this work? And that's a huge question.
Can you imagine if the Chiefs had Tyreek Hill? How good of a team that would be?
Yeah.
There's so many jersey swaps on the internet of Tyreek Hill and the Chiefs. It would be crazy. If you ever somehow got there.
Tyreek Hill. Can you imagine if the Chiefs had, I don't know, trying to think of a middle of the road wide receiver one. Amari Cooper.
T.
Higgins. Yeah.
Nico Collins.
Yeah. Legitimately, Nico Collins. It's insane. So, you can worry about them in the offseason, but it's a challenge.
Should we move on to what was probably the second biggest game of the year? Maybe the one that's going to have the most impact in the AFC.
Are you going to talk about the Houston Texans now?
I'm not. I'm going to talk about our Thursday night matchup of Bengals Ravens.
Okay.
The big bad Bengals have they are seemingly dead, as Joe Burrow is now out for the year after having a terrible start to the season. He seemed to pick it back up for the past couple of games, but now it's just gone. What do you think about? So I think really we don't really have to talk about the Bengals anymore. I think more now we stuck with the Ravens. How could they season? What do you think about them?
Yeah, no, it's been such a turnaround for this Ravens team from last year. They have finally, I don't want to say got over the injury hump because I know we're going to talk a lot about Mark Andrews last night and how massive of a loss that was. But to see a fully healthy rendition of this roster. Offensively, the way they've been opened up by Todd Monken, Lamar Jackson, and this now moving towards a more RPO spread-based offense instead of
Great.
whatever the
pistol.
last era was. Yeah, it was horrible.
I think the pistol offense was a great offense. I just don't think Greg Roman knew how to run it right.
No, it was, and their run game suffered so much as a whole because of it.
Yeah, you cannot run play action every passing play.
No, it doesn't function.
Yeah.
And Todd, we saw this we saw this with Todd Monken at Georgia and the way he, taking a guy like Stetson Bennett and opening that offense up. You would always talk about how they had their lack of skill position players and they still made it work. So,
yeah. I think the Ravens are also, after J.K. Dobbins went out, you really thought outside of Lamar Jackson to be the guy carrying the load. Gus Edwards these past couple of weeks has just been great, very, very efficient when it comes to scoring. Keaton Mitchell has been a nice story.
Mm-hmm.
The rookie, he's had some couple games, and then Odell Beckham the past couple of weeks has looked like, 2018 Odell.
Don't do it, Mike. No, don't do it.
The past couple of weeks, he's looked great. I'm not
he's
saying
been
he's
good.
fully. He's had a great run the past weeks. Exactly, yeah. It's been good. It's nice to see. It's refreshing to see a guy.
It is refreshing to see.
I hadn't had much, but and the other receivers have been solid too. Aguilar exists. Zay Flowers is great for a rookie. Devin Duvernay, Rashad Bateman. Other guys kind of just linger around. They're effective when they're on the field. So it's just great. I think this is the most complete Ravens team we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Loss of Mark Andrews might sting, but the fact that he might be back for the playoffs is massive for this team. Yeah. And, especially if the way it's trending, they're going to get the home field advantage first round bye. Can you imagine having Mark Andrews after you don't have to play a playoff game without him?
No, I can't.
If per se he's not ready for the wild card.
The safety blanket that he provides is so crucial to this team. It's going to be a tough couple weeks without him for sure.
I do really like their tight end room though. I like Likely. Yeah. I like Charlie Fuller. So I think the rotation of those two is going to be. I don't think it'll be too bad.
And they're all good run blockers, which is really key to that Ravens offense as a whole.
Yep.
Yeah. But we got to spend a little minute on this Mike McDonald defense because they are a top
one of the best in football.
NFL. Yeah, it's been insane what he's been able to do with the pieces that he's been given. He should immediately be a head coaching candidate going into next offseason. Roquan Smith is playing the best football of his career. Same with Kyle Hamilton. Taking the defensive line that they have, they don't have a lot of strong pieces. The guys like Jadeveon Clowney, his career stepping up for this defense, and they're such a fun unit. They get after the passer in ways that most NFL teams can't. They mix up their coverages in so many ways to confuse all these starting quarterbacks. Geno and Jared Goff both completely lost against them. Both guys having top 15 seasons in the NFL this year. What a squad! What a squad!
They're awesome. They're great to watch.
Yeah,
they're very fun. Very fun.
Yeah. And that's where you look at it matching up against a team like Kansas City, where we talked about with the lack of skill position guys. And you're like, with the amount of ways this team can mix up the looks you face against them, the coverages, it's going to be a chess match for Andy Reid. And with the weapons that they have, I don't know that Kansas City is going to be able to do much against this. So I think they remain the biggest threat to the Chiefs as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Anything else?
Okay.
All right, should we go on to another big game in the AFC between the star-studded quarterback matchup of Kenny Pickett and Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Adam, what are some takeaways you had here?
We shared our takeaways yesterday. We got in a little text debate over it, and it all kind of came to the forefront this morning as we woke up. And Matt Canada, the Steelers' offensive coordinator,
deported
relieved of his duties this morning.
Finally.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Terrible coordinator. I mean, you talk about Brian Johnson being a bad coordinator. Oh my God, you guys complain. Imagine you have this guy.
Yeah, I know. It's
Oh boy, but I think this is great for the Steelers. I feel like that offense is going to open up a lot more. Somebody who actually knows how to call plays. I think Kenny Pickett's a problem. I didn't think he was the problem. I think he's been rough, but I didn't think he was the biggest problem. I think you're going to see a little bit more improvement with him, with a more opened up playbook. So it should be good. I mean, the Steelers needed it. This stretch in the season, it's going to be rough for them. I mean, they really need to get Pickens and Johnson more involved. Najee Harris has so much talent. They just need to figure out a way to get that out of him because I was watching some old Alabama games. Holy crap, that man! He's a monster of a man.
But is he still that guy?
I mean, he hasn't really been injured. He can be that guy. He doesn't just disappear.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
I mean, when there's no blocking for you, it's hard.
It's a little difficult. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're going to see an improved Steelers team. Obviously, that defense is great. We don't really need to talk about it. It's great secondary. T.J. Watt, great deal. It's all great.
Yeah, I mean, I do have questions about their secondary. I will say that. Their corners have been old and rough at times so far this year, but when their D-line gets home, it doesn't matter. It's similar to how the Eagles have been at points this season, but that Steelers defensive line is just different with Watt, with Cam Hayward, with the pieces that they have. I think I have more questions about Pickett than you do. He's, to me, looked really, really frazzled in the pocket throughout this entire year. And even with a clean pocket, the arm strength improvement just hasn't really shown. The accuracy improvement hasn't really shown to me. But like you said, with an open playbook, with the aid of a different offensive coordinator, maybe that'll work. I think they hired the running backs coach to be the offensive coordinator for the rest of the year.
I didn't take notice as to who they hired. I just know the candidate's out.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see how they adjust. But at the end of the day, they sit here at 6-4, and I mean, we were talking about this before. The rest of their schedule is really easy.
Blatantly easy. Pickett went out.
Yeah. I mean, New England, Colts. They have a game against the Bengals this week without Burrow. I think they played 2 games against the Bengals. The Burrow-less Bengals.
They do. But their last 2 games are like ridiculously difficult.
Are they?
They play Seattle. They play at Seattle and then at Baltimore.
Yeah, those are tough. But I mean, at home for Minnesota, or am I looking at the wrong? I'm looking at Cincinnati. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even know if they would win that game.
Yeah. At home for Arizona, there's a lot of winnable games here, and so I think when we look at this playoff picture, it's hard to be concerned about the Steelers given what they're looking at moving forward. But I think as far as the quality of a football team, that if they want to win an actual playoff game for the first time in 6 years,
forever. Yeah,
that's gonna come down to some changes that have to be made, and we'll see what happens. But you want to talk about a Browns perspective?
Oh my God, they're ugly. They look just as bad as Pittsburgh did. I mean, I love DTR in college. He was great at UCLA. He could not read out of field defense for his life. The run game was just completely dormant yesterday. They averaged 3 yards a carry, and we didn't really see a receiver step up yesterday. So, I mean, what is this going to look like when you play a real football team? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to pull up their schedule now. I mean, what are you going to do when you have to play the Jags? What do you have to do when you play the Texans? What do you have to do when you play the Jets defense? I mean, there's issues. Like, you're not going to win those games.
Maybe, yeah.
Is your offense? Yeah, your offense isn't going to perform against the Jets defense. Not going to perform against the Texans defense. Not going to perform against the Jaguars defense. Probably not the Rams defense. That these are these secondaries are a lot better than the secondary they faced today. 2 days ago, and only put up 13 points. He didn't even score. He scored 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
But offense has problems. That's a great defense. Don't get me wrong. They have a great defense, but it's just, can they carry them through what was already piss poor quarterback play all season. And now you just have whatever the hell is left in the tank for PJ Walker and whatever you can find at Dorian Thompson Robinson. I think they're going to have the biggest fall off out of any team. And I don't mean this because I'm a Texans fan, but I think when they're going to walk into Houston, get their asses kicked, and it's going to be a big eye-opening moment for them.
We're taking
it might come before. It might come against Denver next week. They've been hot. It's going to be a massive game in the AFC for playoff implications. It's going to be are the Browns going to stay up there, or is Denver really going to sneak their way? Because we'll talk about Denver later. But they're probably the hottest team in football right now. So, I have so many concerns with the Browns offense and their inability to run the ball when they have no passing game. I mean, seriously, 43 pass attempts coming out to 160 yards is horrific.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not pretty.
No, I completely agree. I mean, the run game has been, the strength of this Browns team of their entire roster throughout the past 3 years. And I mean, we have to continue to look back at the loss of Chubb as, really a death knell in the Browns season. The Jerome Ford Kareem Hunt duo has just not been able to accomplish much of anything, and there's not really any free agents left on the running back market that could really fix this. So offensively,
unless a guy like Dalvin Cook or is gonna get bought out. I don't even know if they do buyouts in football, but you know what I mean.
I don't think this late anymore. So
wow.
It's pretty brutal, but that defense is maybe the best unit in the NFL. What Jim Schwartz has done for them, they just have a bunch of athletes. It's what I was hoping the New England defense would look like this year. They haven't necessarily lived up to that due to injuries and just overall being bad. But the Browns secondary is so bendy. They have guys like Greg Newsome. Rodney McLeod just got hurt, but he had been an awesome piece for them. And then their D-line, I think Myles Garrett is my defensive player of the year. With how
I'm shocked you didn't talk about all-pro defensive back Denzel Ward, when you were talking about the secondary.
Yeah, I didn't. I know exactly. That's how good they are.
I'm just on pace to be one of the best players in the history of the franchise.
Yep, exactly. Really strong linebacker core as well. It's just JOK. It's an incredible team. And they're really being wasted, as you said. But I don't know what the solution is. I think, them starting DTR is them betting on a higher ceiling, possibly than PJ Walker's consistency. And but I don't know that you want to do that with the lower floor that DTR provides. Given playoff hopes being on the line.
Consistency from PJ Walker, is it consistently good, or is it consistently just mediocre?
It is consistently mediocre, but I think DTR was bad at times Sunday. And he does have the ability to turn the ball over. But that last drive was so encouraging. I mean, he leads them down the field to get that field goal. A couple really nice throws. So, it's the ups and downs of a rookie quarterback, but it's tough to watch that with a team that's playoff hopes are so significantly on the line. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, do the Titans cut Tannehill loose? There's no Carson Wentz market for them to lean on anymore.
Joe Flacco, man.
Joe Flacco's there, but I really can't watch Joe Flacco play football in 2023. I'm sorry. I just give me PJ Walker over that at that point. They're basically the same player. So yeah, I think their ceiling is really limited by this, and it's disappointing to see for sure. Yeah.
I should move on. So I waited long enough to talk about the Texans.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Texans played their scariest game of the season this year against the Cardinals. 21-16 win. Stroud played his sketchiest game. And I didn't really think I'd ever say a guy going 27 for 37, 336 yards is the sketchiest game, but 3 picks are bad. If Robert Woods could catch a football, then he'd only have 2 picks, but still 2 picks were pretty rough. But got concerned. At one point, I looked down on my phone to watch TikTok for like 2 minutes. I looked up and Davis Mills was in the game. I got really confused.
Was he actually?
Yeah, he was 1 for 1 for 2 yards. I have no clue why he was in the game.
Why? That's a little scary. Did Stroud get hurt at some point? Oh, God.
Not that I know of.
No, they just
I have
decided
no
to
idea.
stick Davis Mills in.
Yeah, they gave him one pass attempt.
Huh.
I have no idea.
That makes no sense.
I have no idea. I mean, good for him.
No sense, Mike.
He probably needed to get a completion for like a bonus, and they were like, "All right, go ahead."
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
But yeah, Stroud, regardless of the 2 interceptions, like he threw 27 other amazing passes. He had the highlight reel touchdown pass to Tank Dell, who has just been absolutely awesome. Yeah, when was the last time I could say that Texans had 2 receivers on pace for 1,000 yards? Wonderful. They mathematically they're on pace for 1,000. Yeah, but like that was just one. Who's the other one? Like when we had D-Hop, it was the other guy.
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz has been an awesome tight end for us. He had a cool touchdown. Robert Woods, Steven Sims, they were fine. John Mechie, those guys just rotate as the wide receiver 3 until Noah Brown comes back. Because Noah Brown's been really fun for us too somehow.
Yeah.
couple of huge games. Devin Singletary is just like a career revival. I don't know what's going on, but he's had like 3 straight 100-yard games.
You were so excited about Devin Singletary.
Yes, so Damian Pierce can kick rocks for all I care.
Yep.
As long as Devin Singletary keeps just plowing it in,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a solid win, even though it was scary. Defense stepped up great when they needed to, all throughout the fourth quarter. Both of Stroud's interceptions, not being able to capitalize on turnovers, turning it over, giving Arizona good field position. They bent, but they didn't break, and it was just great for like a defense with so many young players on it. Stingley played best game of his career by far. Christian Harris was awesome. Toto was great. I mean, Steven Nelson with a beautiful play at the end of the game to seal it. I mean, it was awesome. It was a great team performance. Kyler Murray was great.
Yep.
James Conner had a decent game. Kyler Murray had a good game running the ball too. We got lit up by Greg Dortch somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's about all I have. And we got the luckiest fumble of all time and just did not
capitalize.
I don't know if you were watching, but
I was.
You saw the punt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great win. The Texans improved to 6-4, and I firmly believe CJ Stroud should win MVP just because I think if Davis Mills played this season, we literally would not have won a game. I mean, this is the way Stroud's been able to elevate the offense, elevate the people around him. He's a captain already. He's got a work ethic, very, very close to unmatched. I mean, that diagnostic test or whatever he took at the beginning of the year, screw that. It's such a stupid thing.
Yep.
But he's one of the best rookie quarterbacks I've ever seen come in. And just the way that he's been able to give hope to, the fan base of the Houston Texans. I mean, I think that should put him at least in the Pro Bowl conversation, not the MVP conversation.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The way Stroud reads a different defense is so unlike anything we've seen from a rookie quarterback since Justin Herbert. And I think the rookie season he's having is comparable to the one from Herbert that we consider to be the most dominant rookie season of all time, I think, in 2017. So I think he definitely should be Rookie of the Year. And I think I agree, he should be talked about in the MVP conversation. I still, hold a lot of stake in what Lamar Jackson's been able to do. And what we've talked about, his way of kind of holding together that offense, being the glue and what's been a totally revitalized offense for what's been the best team in the AFC, in my opinion. But what Stroud does on a weekly basis for Bobby Slovic and as an offensive coordinator, allowing him opportunities.
I was going to say Bobby Slovic.
Yeah,
Bobby Slovic just like he's technically part of the Shanahan tree, but he's going to be a great start to the D'Amico Triangle. He has been awesome. It's been so great. He's a blessing. The way he's been able to develop Stroud, the same way he was able to work with Brock Purdy. I mean, he's going to be. I don't know if we'll get a head coaching job this year, just because it's his first year, and the team's been able to see 1 or 2 more years out of him. But he's going to be a great NFL coach, and he's awesome.
He might.
He the play calling at times it's a little risky, but first year play caller, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's gotten better over the year. It's been awesome. I'm very grateful. And Matt Burke's been great on the defensive side of the ball too. Obviously, D'Amico Ryans is the bigger guy with the defensive stuff going on, but Matt Burke's been there and he's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's flowing well. I mean, after two really bad hires, like you could say maybe David Culley didn't deserve to bite the dust after year one. He was just a placeholder until we found like the guy we really wanted. And then we didn't find the guy we really wanted. So Lovie Smith was another placeholder. And this is the guy now. Like D'Amico Ryans is like going to be the hopefully 20-year head coach. And, kind of like a Mike Tomlin, Bill Belichick kind of guy. Well, I'm not going to compare him to Bill Belichick because, 7 Super Bowl rings, but I think Mike Tomlin is easily the best comparison to what I think D'Amico Ryans can be. I think you can agree with that. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's my little tangent.
I completely agree, and I'm glad you did because the stability D'Amico Ryans has given this defense, in comparison to what you had last year, is so incredible. His scheme,
whole team,
and the way it replicates that San Francisco scheme, and its aggressiveness and the mix of exotic coverages and blitzes and the usage of his linebackers. Blake Cashman. Did you mention Blake Cashman?
Blake Cashman has been
so
awesome this season. He's one of the better linebackers in the NFL.
It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't happen, but it's because of Nico Ryans, the way he's used them in a way that's so fitting towards this defense. And both lines of the football, the way you invested in them this offseason, I think you should give a lot of credit to Nick Caserio as well. He's continuing to build out this roster in a way that, maybe at times is questionable in, their levels of contention because they're not going to go out and spend a lot in free agency on young skill position players or young linemen. Not yet. But this is the year which kind of opens that up towards, and then, the way they've invested in draft, especially in the later rounds, they've hit on a lot of these late round picks.
Definitely. I feel like the late round picks for us, they've been awesome. Not even depth pieces. I mean, like we have a lot of starters. Like Christian Harris and Harry Toto are our 2 starting linebackers.
Yep.
Outside of Blake Cashman, 4th round pick, 5th round pick.
Yep.
Our starting center is usually Jarrett Patterson. No, it's been Jarrett Patterson. Drew Scruggs has been injured all season. Jarrett Patterson was a 6th round pick this year.
Yeah.
We've just the way he's been able to draft. We've had dead pieces, guys moving around. Tank Dell in the 3rd round, Nico Collins on the 3rd round. I mean, oh my God, it's been awesome. Yeah. I mean, last year you could have looked at Dameon Pierce, 4th round pick. He was one of the better running backs in the NFL last year. Like he's just been able to make it work and draft. It's something I'm not used to. No. It's just a great refresh. I mean, they hit it out of the park with this D'Amico Ryans hire, with C.J. Stroud for trading up for Will Anderson. I mean, oh my God, he's been one of the best edge rushers in the league as a rookie. That's awesome.
He's a defensive rookie of the year candidate. Like
he might not win just because he's not putting up the numbers, but the way he put up the game plan against him, oh my God, like he's like one of the words most double teamed edge rushers in football.
Yep.
Rookie, like that's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's I think it's a playoff team. I really do, Mike. And I'm looking forward to actually watching them play a playoff game because I think this middle tier of the AFC is so weird at times. I think seeing them be able to take it to that Bengals team on the road really sold me that they can win those kind of games. And so you can't tell me that you throw them against a Jacksonville in the 1st round or against a Miami in the 1st round, and they can't, create a little spark and maybe give them a show in year 2 of a rebuild. And that is so massive.
Year three.
Yeah.
But still, I mean,
year 3 of a rebuild. That's so massive.
And my big thing is that, like, we might play a home playoff game. We might win the division.
You're right. Yeah.
We crush Jacksonville in Jacksonville, and we play them this week. If we win the division, watching that, it was a 3rd down for the Cardinals in their territory, and the crowd got into it, and that's the loudest I've heard the Texans crowd since the Deshaun Watson, breakaway, amazing pass. You know what I'm talking against Buffalo 2019.
Yep.
The loudest I've heard. That's the loudest I've heard of football crowd in Houston, Texas.
Yeah, it's revitalizing for sure. I mean, we were just looking at tickets the other day to go to those games. They're not the same price anymore. I promise you that. Like
we should have gotten those Jets tickets when we did. We should have gotten those Jets tickets earlier.
We'll say. But it's remarkable for that franchise, and I'm really happy for you, buddy. They've gotten it together.
They have. It's been beautiful.
Yeah.
Are there any other games we really want to touch on? We can skim through a couple games, you think?
Yeah, I think we can just skim. I had a
We'll start with Bears Lions.
Yeah, we can go into that. I didn't really have actually that much on that besides like Justin Fields is really good, and I think we should acknowledge that he should be the starting quarterback for the Bears in 2024. I guess that is maybe a stronger take than some might think it is.
You just completely cut out. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything you just said.
Okay, Justin Fields should be the starting quarterback for the Bears in 2024.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was great yesterday.
Yeah.
I think this win somehow gave me more confidence in the Lions. I mean, just to see a team go down 26-14. Well, here's the thing. Jared Goff, that's a season terrible. It happens. Like we haven't seen him put up that kind of game since 2020 in LA. Like it happens. He had a rough game. It's cool. Like we won, right? But to see a team go down 26-14 with less than 4 minutes remaining, I don't care what team you're playing, to come back and win that game, is impressive.
Yeah,
I think, but also Detroit hasn't won a game like that. I was watching Get Up or First Take or some show on ESPN. Dan Orlovsky was talking about it. Detroit has not come back like that since 1961.
Yeah.
I don't care if they were playing the Bears. I don't care if they were playing, the University of Del Tech in Dover. That is impressive.
Yeah.
Any team, it's impressive. I think it's giving me a little bit of confidence. This team's just different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm worried about the Aaron Glenn defense, though. I think they're different as far as, okay, they can win games in the NFC in the playoffs, but I think when you look at a San Francisco and a Philadelphia Eagles, the way they dominate both lines of scrimmage, for the Lions' defensive line to look as weak as they have over the past couple of weeks, I think that's a little discouraging for me. I'm going to say that.
Definitely. But another thing I just want to touch on is when I said that thing about the Texans crowd being loud, I think if the Lions have a pretty easy schedule, if they end up getting the 2 seed and they're to play San Francisco at Ford Field in January, I'm not saying they destroy them, but I'm saying that crowd plays a factor, I think, because that's going to be one of the biggest games they've ever played.
I think so,
one of the biggest games in franchise history.
I just think those teams
will they win?
A different league. I
do too. I just think the element of being at home would give them a little bit of an edge compared to because I don't think they're better. But this is still, I think we're still seeing the Lions in a progression where they're still getting better. I think that offense is awesome. Jared Goff is playing the best football of his career. I'm so here for it. I love good redemption stories.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome to see him. I'm very happy for him. I love that they're finally using Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, right? Wide receiver core is awesome. They're finally using JMO. He had a great touchdown yesterday to spark the comeback.
Yep.
O-line's good. Penei Sewell is kind of the anchor of that O-line. It's been great.
Yeah,
and then they're working on. But it happens. They played a rough game. They got away. Tough NFC North game.
Yeah.
They got away with the win. Now they get to go play home game on Thanksgiving against the Packers. They might be 9-2 after Thanksgiving. When was the last time we could say that? Maybe since my granddad wasn't born yet was the last time that they were 9-2 after Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that win kind of gave me more confidence. It's weird, but I hope it makes sense in a way.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I think you're buying into the narrative, which I understand, of just this is different for Detroit football and for a fan base, and they should be happy. And I agree, because I don't think people realize this is one of the 5 youngest teams in football. They are going to be here for a long time, whether the quarterback is Jared Goff or not. They're going to be here.
But in 3 years with Hendon Hooker?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, or
that's why they drafted him.
Coming up in these upcoming drafts, they just have such a strong foundation around, similar to the way the Eagles have built, similar to the way the Niners have built. that they don't necessarily need a franchise quarterback right now, and Goff has given them everything they need. So they don't
Like
need
Goff
to.
could be the guy.
He could
Maybe
be the
not
guy.
for the next 10 years, but like for the next
Yeah,
5 years, as long as he's
5.
playing like this, why not? Why move on?
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah. No, I
awesome, and
agree.
the fans love him.
They do.
Like,
They do.
but yeah, man. Also, Dan Campbell, undisputably for me, should be coach of the year. I mean, just
I agree.
see
And I'm shocked you're gonna say
the
that
8-2 record next to the Lions. I think any other year D'Amico would run away with it, but I just think the fact that you're looking, unless the Lions go like 10-7, that like pick undisputably to take this team that hasn't won the division, since the Great Depression, like it's awesome to see. It's very heartwarming, and the fans of Detroit deserve it.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. They're a fun football. I'm excited to watch them on Thanksgiving, for God's sake. The Packers have looked not good, but better over the past couple of weeks. So, I mean, I think it's going to be maybe the best game of the day, considering the kind of rough slate that we're looking at on Thanksgiving. So
yeah, man, I don't like if football Thanksgiving.
Football's
I don't care.
Yeah.
It could be like my high school versus Kansas City. I'd watch.
Yeah.
I'd watch every second of every game.
Yeah. All right, we do one more before I have to go to Spanish.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Let's touch real quick on Seattle before this Thanksgiving game, but the Sunday was rough. What you think?
Okay. I also want to quickly touch on the Vikings. We'll do that after.
Well, no. Let's do the
Seattle
Vikings.
sucks.
Yeah, Seattle.
Seattle was bad. Gino's injured. They're going to get rocked by the 49ers.
Yeah, I think that does it.
And it's looking rough. I mean, they're very lucky that they're in weak ass NFC because if they were not, I mean, they pretty much have clinched the playoff berth. I don't know any team in the NFC that could just come up and get a wild card at this point. Like, I think the 7 teams we have are the 7 teams that are in. Like, unless somebody else comes up and wins the NFC South.
The Rams.
I don't think they. No, that's the West.
Oh yeah.
But like, I don't think anybody comes up and wins the South for New Orleans. No, that's good. I don't think New Orleans is good. I just think every other team sucks.
Yeah.
And also, Jameis Winston is awesome.
Yeah. But Carter, they said, should be back in 2 weeks. Isn't that?
But Jameis Winston's cool.
Sure.
We want to see Jameis Winston.
We do want to see Jameis Winston.
He had like the second half of a lifetime.
Yeah. He did.
All right, you want to touch base on them? But yeah, the Rams look good. So even though Cooper Kupp's injured. Matt Stafford. I'm a Matt Stafford truther. So
offensive line, defensive line, awesome. All right, touch real quick on Minnesota before I gotta go to Spanish.
Josh Dobbs looked like a human again. Didn't have a terrible game, but did have a pretty rough interception. Had a couple good touchdowns, but happens. This team needs Justin Jefferson back now.
Yep.
And Denver is alive and well, and they're coming.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna look at if you're gonna look at the Browns, no quarterback, and the Steelers, are their offense is bad? I mean, you're looking at a team on the outside, not even far out. They're one game back, and they're one game back from Pittsburgh, man. Denver's coming. I told everybody when they were 1-5, I said, don't give up yet. Don't give up on Sean Payton. Don't do it, man. And what people do, they gave up on Sean Payton. And you want to have is you give up on Sean Payton. But you're gonna find out next week when they beat the Browns 3-0. When they beat the Browns 3-0.
We'll find out.
Yeah, Russell Wilson's playing some of the best football we've seen him play in a while, and I'm all here for it.
I agree.
He's on pace for like 3,000 yards and like 40 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's been ridiculous. Absurd.
First ballot Hall of Famer for sure.
Probably. Yeah, has to be.
And he's like finally like the guy. Like it's like, oh my God, like Denver finally is quarterback.
Correct.
Lord. I thought he was a lot better last year after they fired Hackett. I mean, if you ever go back and look at the game logs, like
but that Rams
there's
game,
like a significant
game
play. Yeah, but that's one game. I mean, he also lit up Kansas City last year with 300 yards or something like that. So multiple times.
True.
Yeah, man. We got a great Sunday coming up. We got a great
Sunday.
Rivalry week, college football. Coming back next week, conference championship preview.
Yep. College
football's where I get to shine.
Yep. We'll be right back. I mean, it's good to be back. It's good to do this again, and I mean, I'm happy. I'm grateful for you, Michael Formos. I'm grateful for football. It's a beautiful time.
Grateful for you. Grateful for you, Nathan. Grateful for football.
Yeah, grateful for Nathan. Grateful for football.
Of course.
Couldn't be happier. Yep. All right. So we'll be back soon.
Go past Spanish.
I'm gonna go to Spanish. Yes.
Don't fail.
All right. See you guys soon. And fire. Who do we even fire?
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson. There we go.
Fire Daryl Morey. Who else can we fire?
Let's not fire Daryl Morey yet. That was a good trade.
I need someone to fire though. Fire Jay Cave.
There we go.
Bye.
All right. Bye.